Live from Sono Entertainment and Recording Studios, Episode 3, TEE time. Tiempo?
EB?
You already know how I'm feeling, if any of you are football fans, how embarrassing that was to watch last night. To be at 23-3, oh my goodness, man.
How was it? What was the atmosphere like in MetLife Stadium last night?
I was saying, what the fuck, when I saw the third string QB come on. Pretty much the only person that did anything was Le'Veon Bell.
25 points in our fantasy league, so I'm quite happy with that performance, but unfortunate that no one else could step up to the plate and help him.
Jamal Adams got benched. I don't know if you saw that earlier.
I did. Yeah, I did see that.
He got burned on the play, but he puts his heart and soul out there. I think
committed 2 penalties and then got a little upset and unfollowed the Jets' social media pages.
Yeah, we'll keep up with that. He'll probably get traded while we're on the air, so we'll see what happens with that. But overall, disappointing football Sunday, man.
I know. Both of our teams got L's. Chargers lost in a typical Charger fashion by throwing an interception in the final moments of the game to Darius Slay, of all people. But what are we going to do? But let's go right into it.
You miss Melvin Gordon yet?
No, I don't actually.
No?
Austin Eckler, he's doing pretty damn well. So I miss Melvin Gordon because it's MG3. I don't know why I call him MG3, but MG3. I think he's the third for all I know. But yeah, I miss him a little bit. I miss having that atmosphere out there. I miss the Mel and Keenan and Mel show, you know. Poor guy. Hopefully he comes around sooner than later. So
let's get into it. We'll break down both our teams first, and then we'll get around the league.
Yep. We have a lot to get into.
I saw Stephen A. Smith today, quote unquote, the Jets are trash. And I agree. It's not looking good right now. We'll see. Maybe Darnold comes back from the mono. I mean, that broke after our show Tuesday. Mm-hmm. But that's a very serious injury, man. You can't mess around with that spleen. Everything's enlarged, his organs.
Could lose 20 pounds in a handful of weeks, you know? So that's not a good prognosis for him. Hopefully he's back come October. Maybe.
They're saying week 5. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with that. Bell last night, 10 catches for 61 yards, 21 carries for 68 yards.
Which breaks down to 3 yards per carry.
That's the whole offense right there. What else do we have right now? You lost our starting quarterback. Mm-hmm. We don't have Chris Herndon until week 5. So
you don't have your backup quarterback.
Do you Honestly, what is the score going to be next week versus the Jets and the Patriots? I swear to God, it's going to be like 68-7. It's not even going to be close.
Do you want to put it over and under?
Oh my goodness! I give them plus 40.
Plus 40?
Why not?
Yeah,
Bill Belichick is that type of guy that he's just going to run up the scoreboard.
He's going to press his foot down on the Jets' neck and not let up at any moment.
Yeah, because remember one time Bill Belichick was our coach for a day, and then
when it was shipped off the Patriots.
Why not? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, of course.
Before I get too angry, let's just get into
We'll move along and we'll keep it going. But hey, Alyssa Falk had a decent game, question mark? 20 attempts for 25 attempts for 20
honestly, he wasn't terrible. Like, granted, where is he getting those reps in practice with Darnold and
Simeon?
Yeah. So I thought he was decent for granted what it was, but
I know.
No chance for
stepping up in the spotlight, stepping up on a Monday night. I got to give it to him. Not ideal. Not your starting quarterback, not your second tier quarterback, but 9.9 yards average per
just
per
say one fan when Simeon went down, he threw a beer. Literally 10 rows.
Did it hit anybody?
So that was a nice experience.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough. I'm terribly sorry that you had to spend your money and go to that game and witness that.
Shout out to Nige because I didn't pay for that game. So
shout out Nige.
Thank God.
Yeah, Jet Life. Yeah, but like you were saying, even Baker Mayfield was looking a little lethargic out there on the field. It wasn't quite himself, right?
Yeah, no, they could have won that game 48-3.
They
had plenty of opportunities to drive the ball right down the Jets' throat, and no Mosley, no Quentin Williams. You had no reason to
not produce.
They only won the game by 20 points. They could have won that game by 35, 40 points.
Sure.
They blew a couple opportunities. Baker missed Odell on a couple of those deep balls. Odell, one-handed catch, saw that
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Was that on your side of the end zone
Yeah.
that you were on?
Yeah.
So it was coming right at you pretty much.
And then, unfortunately, we left midway into the third quarter, but
and of course, Odell had the $2 million watch on.
Yeah, Odell took one with his watch. He was checking the time because he took one 90 yards to the house. So,
and they were complaining about his visor last night or something along those lines.
He had to change his visor last night.
Mid game, yeah, after the midway through the first drive kind of thing, which is, I mean, come on, if you're going to be a ref, you got to catch that before the game starts because you can't let that man get hot and then
put
him on simmer.
He's
a
little diva, so
100%. There's always some sort of drama that surrounds him, which is unfortunate because he's such a great talent that you would hate to. It takes away from his game, unfortunately, to me at least.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of any team he's ever been on. I've actually hated the Giants. Not a big fan of the Cleveland Browns because the hype that surrounds him. But he's one of those players where I get a little get tired of hearing about him, quite frankly. So let's move along to my team, Chargers. Woo. We looked good.
That wasn't pretty.
We looked good going into the half. Yeah, we missed a couple field goals, but Mike Williams had a nice 54-yard catch to get him down into that, with 4 seconds left on the clock to have Ty Long kick a nice 48-yard field goal, send you into the half going 10-6 or 10-3 or whatever it was. But then the man went and missed 2 field goals. 2 field goals within 40-something yards. You had one job. I know you're a punter filling in for Michael Badgley, but come on. You got to produce a little bit more so than that. That didn't sit right with me. But whatever. So
they had to get some points on the board regardless.
They had to get exactly. And there was a drive where they had 2 touchdowns taken back by penalties that then resulted in a missed field goal at the end of the drive. So, I mean, you can't live and die by that. You can't die in the hill over that because it is what it is. You move on to week 3. But let me tell you, that one's going to come back to bite us in the butt because the Detroit Lions was a beatable team.
Yeah.
And
you need that one.
And come on, Phillip Rivers, you know better. Don't force the ball on 3rd and 18 into a end zone, into the end zone where you got Darius Slay, one of the better cornerbacks in the league, just waiting to pick off Keenan Allen. He was triple coverage or double cover, So
just take the check down and get the field goal.
Exactly. Honestly, he would have been better off just tying the game up at 13 at all, sending it to overtime. Second week, both the Lions and the Chargers went into overtime. But once again, I'm not going to live and die by that, that loss because that one stung. I'm not going to lie, it stung a lot, hurt a lot.
So let's get into a little around the league.
Well, before we get into that, how did our picks look last week?
So I came out on top 4-3.
Or you beat me by a game.
Yeah.
You had the push. We tied until you had the push.
I think the biggest news of the weekend is, the quarterbacks is Drew Brees out 6 to 8 weeks. Big Ben's out for the year. I already picked the Seahawks going into last week before Ben's injury, but
because Mason Rudolph is not going to do well against the Seattle Seahawks defense. You got Jadeveon Clowney and then some. Bobby Wagner just
Conner got hurt too.
James Conner got hurt. But I think Connor's going to be good to go. I think he's going to be cleared to play next weekend, so that shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, so I went 4-3 last week, so that puts a season total between the first 2 weeks at 10-12-1 for me and 12-10-1 for you. So
let's just go by the weeks. So we'll say we're 1-1.
I won week 1. Ugly week 1 for me. 5-9.
You won week 1. I won week 2. Vice versa. Yeah, I won week 1. You won week 2. So we're 1-1. And we just keep moving, chucking along, and we'll get to the pick towards the end of the show as far as what we have going on for week 3. But like you said, the quarterback plays, it's going to be the big names. You got Big Ben, who's been around for decades. You got Drew Brees, who's been around for decades. Both those teams are looking pretty good.
Let's start with the Thursday night game. I mean, Cam Newton, once he got that foot injury, that was it. That was a questionable play at the goal line.
Yeah.
With McCaffrey. 100%. I want to give the ball to McCaffrey. I win or lose the game. I want him having the ball, but
yeah.
You have a 6'6" quarterback that's 250 pounds and you need 1 yard. Why are you not running
Place
a sweep?
The arm over
something.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Granted, right before the end of the first half, he was stopped short, but granted,
it's you said you have a 6'6" quarterback. That's a linebacker playing quarterback,
and you have a 5'10" running back. So
let's give it to that guy that's 5 yards behind me to go 1 yard in front of me. Yeah, and I'm with you. I can stand behind that.
And then reports today he might not even play week 3.
Exactly.
That's Panthers are 0-2. I don't know how that's going to end up for them. If they who even is their backup quarterback? I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. And I'm looking at this right now. Cam Newton threw 51 times last week.
Yeah.
51 times. He just had about 50% completion.
I don't know if that weather delay kind of screwed up the flow of the game with the lightning and everything else, but
that's a high number to be throwing the ball for anybody. 51 times is a lot. But, yeah. Christian McCaffrey was 16 attempts for 37 yards, so that averaged 2.3 yards per carry.
Yeah. faced them in fantasy in 2 leagues, so
you're fine.
I was pretty happy
you
about
got
that.
the W's this week too, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Another interesting one from Sunday, 49ers versus the Bengals, 41-17.
They won huge. They won giant.
We were kind of down on them. We didn't know how Jimmy G was going to bounce back, and
Yep.
he had a questionable game week 1, but
The man threw it for 3 touchdowns and
they
an
were on
interception,
fire,
but
yeah.
didn't get sacked once. Played pretty clean for the most part. Had a high rate of 131.2. That's a little bit of a surprise here. Going into the season, you and I both kind of pegged Jimmy G as that. We haven't had enough of a clip.
We need to see a little more out of you before
we can. Yeah, exactly. Be like, all right, he's in that top 15 percentile of NFL quarterbacks. He's getting there. I want to say he's in that right now.
How can you not say he isn't?
How can you say he's not? I mean, 25 attempts for 17 completions. That's a pretty damn good number for 297 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. So he had a heck of a good day.
Let's go into another local team.
Let's hear it.
The New York Giants.
I knew it was coming.
You picked the Bills last week.
Yep.
I agreed with you, but obviously I had to side
I
with
picked the Bills. You had to sit with the Giants. Yeah.
Now look at where we are. Daniel Jones is starting week 3.
Did you see that coming?
Is that too soon?
A little bit. I mean, I would have liked him to get started around week 8, let Eli play out. But did you see Daniel Jones getting named starter week 3?
No.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Even when I woke up this morning, I didn't expect it. That's a pretty big news.
I know. It's, why, what is the point of bringing Eli back then? If you're going to start him week 3, that just makes no sense to me.
Well, he's a great quarterback to learn from because he's been there. He's been in the league for a long time. He's a professional over professionals, maybe, if you will.
Definitely someone to learn from, but at the same time, Eli even said it. He's not there to teach the next person. He's trying to be the starting quarterback of the New York Giants. Yeah. So we'll see in the next coming weeks or so if something's going to happen. Maybe he gets traded to one of these teams that needs a fill-in quarterback, whether it be the Saints, Archie Manning was there, his dad.
Yeah.
Steelers,
That's a nice little tie.
The Rooneys and the Maras are very close.
Close family. And another one is Tom Coughlin over in Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah,
they need a quarterback right now.
And shout out to the Jaguars. I agree with going for that 2-point conversion. If you were giving the ball back to the Texans, you were probably going to lose the game. So why not? They've been getting a lot of harsh comments for that, but
the Texans still ended up winning that game.
Yeah.
13-12.
I mean, the fact that they held them to 13 points is remarkable in itself. And
Deshaun Watson and D. Hopkins are a great duo.
We'll see what happens with Jalen Ramsey in these next coming weeks. He reportedly wants out of there. He just wants to win, so he won't be coming to the Jets, but he'll probably go to the Pats.
We're moving quick, but let's get into that a little bit because that was one of the topics I wanted to discuss with you, that we have all these big-name NFL players that just won out. It's like they have all these NBA friends that see how they get traded like it's changing new underwear. You got these NFL players that just say, I'm demanding a trade. Now, I know the Dolphins aren't doing great, and I can see why a lot of Dolphins players requested the trade. So you got Minkah Fitzpatrick getting moved to the Steelers. But nonetheless, still, that's, I guess, bad for the sport of NFL or the sport of football because you got.
I agree.
It just doesn't. It's not a good look where you get such top-heavy teams. So for all I know, Jalen Ramsey can get traded to the New England Patriots.
Yeah. Then I literally will never watch football for.
What's the point at that point? That's horrible. That's poor for ratings. That's just
like
not
the Golden
good to
State
watch.
Warriors.
Those like the Golden State Warriors almost, but there's 52 players instead of 15.
Yeah.
So we got Jalen Ramsey looking to get traded.
Fitzpatrick just went to the Steelers last night.
Yep. So even if you date back, even more so, Melvin Gordon was like, if you're not going to pay me, then trade me. That's another one where it's a little upsetting because that hits home a little harder. What can you do? Antonio Brown, same thing. Was like, all right, well then trade me, but they'd released him. So it's a little weird. I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't sit well with me as far as the NFL players doing that.
Yeah.
Even in NBA when it happens, when they're just, all right, well, up and leave, I want out. Well,
I wish more. NBA is a little different in the sense that
there's only 15 players and it's easier to move.
You're on a 12-man roster, so if you're the best player on the team, granted, you got to get paid. I understand.
Sure.
But NFL, like, there's so many different, like, if you're the best running back in the league, who cares? Because you still need a defense to support you, and you still need a quarterback, and you still need receivers.
No, you're right. Absolutely. LeBron James can single-handedly take over a game where Zeke Elliott is not isn't going to single-handedly
he'll have
take
his
over
stats, but he's not.
It's not going to help. It's not going to help when he's on the
sideline. He
sideline.
can't tackle and intercept passes.
Exactly. So it's football is the epitome of a team sport. Really, it really is. Where you need a collective effort to get that W.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, in basketball, you don't need that. So that's where it bothers me a little bit that they get these players doing it left and right now. But like you said, I get it. You got to get paid. Got to get your money. What can you do? I just wish it wasn't like that because I got a feeling in the next handful of years you're going to get a lot of kids that are
a lot of crybabies.
Those millennials that put their foot down and not want to play. I mean, some days I wish I could just request a trade for my job. It doesn't work that way. In the real world, it does not work that way. But you put your head down and maybe some days get better. You get your highs and your lows. That's what life's all about.
So let's jump back to the New England Patriots.
Why do you want to talk about the Patriots for? Because they put up a lot of points.
43-0. That puts it at 102-10 for this season. They play the New York Jets next week.
They're going to get blown out next week. The Jets are going to get blown out next week.
Wouldn't it be weird if the Jets won? Like, that would be the epitome game.
Well, once again, we're going to get to those picks, but I'm going to end up with the Jets as the pick. No, but
I told you last week if the Jets lost, I wouldn't pick them this week. So
you're not picking it. So I'm going to end up with the Jets this week. But
I mean, who is it if it's in the Chiefs? Please tell me. There's no one in.
There's not one definitive defense that I feel comfortable enough to suppress the New England Patriots. There's not one. Can you name me any defense?
No, Brady. I mean, granted, he throws the ball 10 yards, but it's accurate every single time. He has slants and all these short patterns. And
he has weapons.
He lets everyone make the plays for him. Mm-hmm. And until anyone could stop that, I mean...
Who is going to stop that? And
they're going to have a perfect season, I think.
So there was a thing I saw. I forgot who mentioned it or who posted it, but it was was it the 2016 or 2018? What year was that they went?
2011, I think it was.
I think you're right.
To the Giants, around
that time. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Yeah.
But if you look who it was Tom Brady. The wide receiver sets a lot different now than Randy Moss is the number one. You got AB, Josh Gordon, and Julian Edelman. Where you had Wes Welker, Randy Moss, and I want to say the third was drawing a blank.
Welker
was one of them. Yeah. I would pick this year's Patriot team over any team. Honestly,
it's scary.
Honestly, and I would love. Scary. I wish I had their rest of their schedule right in front of me so I could take a look at it for myself.
They got 2 wins in the Jets for the next. I think it's they play them this week, week 3, and I think week 7 they play. Mm-hmm. Still got another game versus the Dolphins, which pray for them.
Somehow Miami always figures out how to beat the Patriots. Yeah. So they got blown out this week, but don't count them out for the next game.
Yeah,
Miami.
Honestly, I think the second best team in the division right now is the Bills. Shut down both New York teams. Mm-hmm. Granted, they're a New York team, but not really.
Bills aren't bad. Josh Allen looks pretty good.
That defense is decent.
It's stout.
And
they hold them to points.
Josh Allen's, he's not a top 10 quarterback, but he does just enough to get the job done. Well,
I didn't like the amount of turnovers he had week 1 against the Jets, especially in the first half.
You mean we should have won?
Oh, no. AKA you should have won.
Shocker.
But Josh Allen looks comfortable when he plays. He sits back in the pocket. He makes his precise moves. He has the feet. If he has to move downfield and get a first down by foot, he can do it. That crop of last year quarterbacks with Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen. I got a feeling that Josh Allen, trajectory-wise, is going to be one of the better ones. I mean, Lamar Jackson obviously is having a stellar year this year. I mean, it's unheard of. But Josh Allen, you could make the case that he's having a better season in a weird way. I mean, obviously, you look at the numbers, but as far as the eye test goes, I mean, I haven't watched enough Ravens film. I've watched enough Bills film this year.
I was going to say no one watches Bills film.
No one watches Bills film. I've seen enough only because where we are in the tri-state area, we watch more Bills than we get to do Ravens. That Josh Allen's looking pretty damn good.
Going to the Ravens, 23-17 versus the Cardinals.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson threw for 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, had 16 carries for 120. So looks like can he beat out Mahomes for the MVP? I mean, he's looked damn good the last 2 weeks, but granted, it's been versus the Dolphins and versus the Cardinals.
So you want to make the case for Lamar Jackson winning MVP?
I already told you Pat Mahomes.
He's going to win only because the MVP is it's a popularity race at that point.
Oh, yeah.
It's all it comes down to, which is unfortunate because Lamar Jackson's having a great season, which he's got every reason to be in that in that talk, because 120 yards for a running of our quarterback.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, it's the
Double,
first time.
That's double what Le'Veon rushed for last night.
It's the first time that any quarterback has threw for over 250 yards and rushed for over 120 yards. I think the only other person to do that was Colin Kaepernick in the playoffs, but that's the playoffs. We're talking regular season right now. So Lamar Jackson's having a great year. Only thing that bothers me with him is he has the biggest neck you'll ever see. Like, that dude's neck goes right up into his head, and it just doesn't sit right. That little thing when he was doing the running back, after he got that week 1 win, it just bothers me a little bit. Coming out of Louisville, I loved him. I thought he was a heck of a player because he did everything you wanted to. I wanted the Chargers to go up and get him because
I thought that'd been a good fit for you guys too, especially with he could have sat last year and then maybe transition him this year. I still think Phillip Rivers, out of the 3, Big Ben,
he's a top 10 quarterback.
I think he's still gonna have the longest career out of all of them.
And Phillip Rivers is in the contract year. He doesn't have a contract after this year. I think he's going to get renewed year by year at this point, and I think that's what he said. He's slowing down in his career. I think he knows that his time is dwindling down.
He has the weapons there.
But he has the weapons.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do too much anymore.
Offensive line is good enough.
Yeah.
But do you think Big Ben's done after this year?
That's interesting.
He's always debated that. He's always, the last 2 years ago, he said he wanted to retire.
I feel like he cares more about himself than the actual game.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see him maybe retiring, but I feel like he wouldn't leave that franchise in a position where if Mason Rudolph wasn't ready to take the helm, I don't think he'd leave him out like that. They're probably going to finish in the top 10, have a top 10 pick. So with all the quarterbacks coming out next year, we'll see. You have to see if Mason Rudolph's really that guy, or are you going to be prepared to draft another quarterback in the top 10?
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. Absolutely not wrong. So out of that trio, Big Ben, Eli, and Phillip Rivers, I'm with you. I think Phillip Rivers, is though he doesn't have the 2 rings that they both do have.
Yeah.
I think
he has better stats.
He's got better stats. He's got better completion rating. He doesn't have as many yards, but he's got just as many career starts, and even touchdowns. So that's what I hate when you're looking at that Hall of Fame, the resume. You got to have the Super Bowl wins to be able to, get. It bothers me a little bit because Phillip Rivers has never had the opportunity, I guess you could say. Well, I don't know. It goes both ways because at least Eli Manning had a little bit more mobility where he can move out of the pocket. Phillip Rivers is slow as molasses. I don't want to talk about that. 2004 was a rough year for us, all right? I was a kid.
How about Kyler Murray in that Ravens game, though? 350 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't throw a touchdown or anything, but I think offense stumbled a little bit coming off of the David Johnson being out for a quarter or so.
Yeah.
Held my breath on that one for the fantasy owners. Goodness.
What's he looking like going into week 3?
No, he's good to go.
Is he?
Went back in the game, so
okay.
Things are looking up there, but I
definitely
held my breath. I was like, oh my God. Same wrist, same everything.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I know. And you seem to have him every single year in fantasy football, only because he's a keeper.
Yeah.
So Kyler Murray's looking very poised in the pocket. He's making those right decisions, I guess you could say, for a young player. Still want to see more game film of him to say that, all right, he's going to have a great year, a great career. I chuckle because his voice sounds so young when he's on the field. That let's go. That guy.
Him and Mahomes are just like, you laugh every time they talk.
Well, because he sounds like Mahomes sounds like Kermit, so that's the only thing there. Another game I want to flip to is a divisional game: the Vikings versus Packers. I know the Packers are dubbed as a top 5 team in the NFL power rankings, or listed at 5. I think a lot of that's because Aaron Rodgers is overhyped, but that's just me. I mean, yeah, he threw for 209 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Rodgers.
I know, it's Aaron Rodgers. It's A-Rod.
But I mean,
even more so. Let's talk about that number 1 running back in the league right now,
Dalvin Cook.
That dude can run. That dude can run.
Jeez.
Dalvin Cook is something. 20 attempts, 154 yards, 7.7 yards per carry.
Dude. 31 fantasy points. I mean,
dude, that's something.
Coming off the injury last year, you kind of were optimistic. Maybe he'll come around and be the back that he was, but
he has 265 yards this year with 3 touchdowns.
How is he not the best back in the NFL right now? Argue with me.
I can't argue with you because only reason why I can argue with you is because he tore his ACL his rookie season, and pretty much last year was kind of like a null. He's a good running back. He's a very good running back. It's because he's on a small market team up in Minnesota.
Where'd he go in our fantasy draft? Second round?
I had to go second round.
He should have been in the first.
I should have taken him in the top of the second. I should have taken him before James Conner. What was I thinking? I'm mad that I took him because I knew Dalvin Cook was a great player. I just didn't think much of him. I was just so high on James Conner. In hindsight, I'm a jackass.
Yeah.
What can I say? But that's the new man of the Minnesota Vikings because he's killing it. He really is. But they must have they got a great offensive line going because all their backs are averaging over 6 yards per carry. Madsen is averaging 6.3. Even Kirk Cousins moves around a little bit when he needs to. It's just that Kirk Cousins isn't a great quarterback. Nice. He's one of those like awkward, sitting in limbo. Could be great, but not be great.
You'd have to talk me off the ledge if the Jets paid 3 for $90 million.
You wanted Kirk Cousins. You wanted Kirk Cousins on your team.
I didn't.
Don't even take that back. Don't even take that back.
Yeah, I did not. I said he is not worth that money, and he's proving it this year that he's not worth that contract.
He's not worth the contract.
Let's go to the second best team in the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs. 28-10 kind of seemed like a easy game for them. Raiders were up 7-0. I was like, oh, what's?
Yeah, I know.
Are we seeing another?
Well, their streak got compromised because it was 20-something games that they scored in the first quarter. They didn't this week, so they broke that streak. I know. For a hot second, I thought the Raiders were kind of doing something with themselves.
I was like, uh-oh.
All right, John Gruden, you got to control your team without AB. But then they lose 28-10, so it was a far cry. It was a
and what I say preseason, how many touchdowns is Mahomes going to throw?
Didn't you say sub 50?
I said 54.
Oh, right.
He has 7 through 2 weeks. He has 7 touchdowns so far, so he's on pace for 56.
He's on. Let's see if he can sustain that because he's average. He had 4 touchdowns this past week.
They have to do. Please knock off the Patriots, please.
No, I don't want that.
You're our only hope.
I don't want that. I'd rather see the Patriots win.
No,
I'd rather see the Chargers win the AFC West, see them into the AFC Championship, and the Chargers dethrone the Patriots as the AFC champs. Right, you're wearing the belt, getting the scepter in hand, and then they face the LA Rams in the Super Bowl. For an all LA Super Bowl. That's what I'm predicting right now. An all LA Super Bowl. Yeah. It's a reach. I know it's not going to happen because the Chargers always get me hyped for no reason. I gave you
Chiefs and Saints last week, so is your Super Bowl Rams Chargers?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, 100%.
All right.
Oh, I'll die on the hill over that.
So going back to the NFC, I think the biggest L of this weekend is the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, because they lose Drew Brees. You get Teddy Bridgewater stepping in. It's just not quite the same. I think that they're gonna pummel a little bit because Drew Brees being able to step back just commands a little more cushioning, and the DBs having to drop back into the wide receivers.
Brees gets the ball away quickly.
Drew Brees,
and I think that's going to be a big transition for not only Teddy Bridgewater but the receivers as well. They're going to have to expect a little delay coming out the pocket. Give him a couple weeks, maybe he'll be decent, but it's not Drew Brees.
Well, think about when Teddy Bridgewater was coming out of Louisville. His first year with the Minnesota Vikings before he got injured at practice wasn't half bad.
Yeah.
He looked pretty good. He was moving around, he was mobile.
I was pissed when the Jets traded him.
But he's no Drew Brees. He's no Drew Brees. I hope that Drew Brees comes back and has that grip on that throwing hand, I should say, and still performs just as well as he always does, as we know him to, because Drew Brees is such a fun player to watch, and he's so good for the game of NFL. Short stature, bulky little dude that just makes all the right throws on the money.
How about in that game you see another blown call?
I didn't see that.
No,
I missed that. I didn't watch much of those games. After the Chargers lost, I was in a hiatus.
Another blown call in that game between the Rams and the Saints. And granted, after Brees was gone, it's probably the Rams game anyway, but definitely changed the momentum of the game right there.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with these refs, man?
Can't do much. What else can you do? They've implemented.
They're all part-time ref, like
challenging a penalty.
Just pay these guys to be full-time referees. Let them do their job. Stop making this so difficult. Why do we have to rely on replay every week, every call, every touchdown? It's a joke.
Well, that's what to that point. You kind of need to have the replay because you look back and see that they messed up
because they're so bad.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing in baseball. You have to we want to go towards an automatic strike zone, but you still need a referee there to call
an umpire.
But
I'm not even a baseball fan. I knew that.
Yeah.
No, I'm 100% with you. I'm absolutely with you. Something's got to give. Something's got to, whether it be Secaucus calling into the games, whatever game it may be, and saying you made a wrong call, change it real quick before they, snap the ball for the next play. There's got to be the eye in the sky in that situation that kind of trumps over whatever call that is, called in the field. Because you're right, that is going to interrupt the game. I swear, if they have another one of those Rams Saints issues in the playoffs last year, all hell's going to break
problem
loose
this year in the playoffs.
Yeah, 100%.
Pats will get the call though. Don't worry.
Well, no, absolutely. Well, no, they're going to be paying off the refs. Another NFC game that I thought was very intriguing, and it came down to the wire, was that Eagles-Falcons game.
I got that right here too.
Yeah, I mean, I had the Eagles winning. They lost by 4 on that Julio Jones
walk-off. Yeah.
Well, it was a minute and a half left or something like that, but a walk-off nonetheless. Carson Wentz came out looking great. I mean, he made a couple Carson Wentz looked very slow in the first half. Second half just was running, gunning. He's such a fun player to watch. Outside of Mahomes, I think Carson Wentz is the funnest player to watch.
He's electrifying. There's no doubt about it. I just think, I don't know, the Eagles defense just broke down on that last drive there. All they had to do was hold them and they had the game. But
Eagles are a funny team because they never look great, but they win. Yeah, if that makes any sense. They won the Super Bowl. Yeah, and even that year, I was like, I was never really, I was like, I'm a Philly guy. I mean, I'm a Sixer fan, so I'm always going to be Philly in the NFC. But I never really saw them as that tantalizing, stout defense. But sure enough, they seemed to pull out victories. But they couldn't do it this past weekend.
Weird stat: the Philadelphia Eagles are the only team that the New York Jets have never beaten. Ever.
Really?
Ever.
How many matchups have they had?
Granted they're divisional opponents in opposite, conferences, but yeah. I think they're 0-10 or 0-12, something.
Since 62, whatever it was.
Never beaten the Eagles.
Wow.
They're one of those awkward teams, though. I think they can make a run, but do you think the Cowboys have them in that division, or you think they're going to be fighting it out?
I think when the matchup comes, I can see the Eagles winning that. I know right now they have a couple injuries with Dallas Goedert and Alshon Jeffrey, and that's going to be a cramp in their style. But they have such a good enough, well-rounded team. They still got D-Jack, who did get hurt or did have an injury, showed up on the injury report. I still think he's going to be fine. But when it comes down to it, I'm going to be rooting for the Eagles, and I think the Eagles will dethrone the Cowboys for that, NFC East champion.
You think the team that doesn't make it, you think they're good for the first seed of the wild card? Fifth seed, sixth seed.
Either one of them, yeah. Easy. And if you're gonna, it's a little way too early to make those calls. Yeah, I would love to have that conversation come week 6, 7, when we can actually have a little more definition of what's going on in those AFC, NFC. 100% though, I can see either the Cowboys and Eagles both making it to the playoffs. One taking that 1-2 seed, and the latter taking the 5-6 seed. Yeah, 100%. That's a very good division between those two teams.
No,
both those teams have a case for the Super Bowl. Dallas is playing incredible right now. I got to say, Dak Prescott is putting on.
Yeah, wish I knew what it'd be to be a competitive division, but
yeah, yeah, it's 15 years in the making, and you're still paying for it.
15, tried 25. Let's get back into a little fantasy football.
Okay.
I saw last week, 2 weeks on my bench now. John Ross had 7 catches last week for $158 and 2 touchdowns, and this week he had 4 catches for 112 and a touchdown.
You've had him on your bench both weeks.
Both weeks on my bench.
And he's averaging
quiet 26
in receiving right now.
Yeah.
Oh no! And then with AJ Green being out, that's only gonna.
I know
his stock's gonna rise.
It's tricky though because you got Taj Boyd there, so that's definitely their number 1 receiver at the moment. So you're like John Ross, I don't know, but. Dude's put on 2 weeks in a row.
He's got the burners. He runs a 4.240.
Lamar Jackson, 33 points. Followed up between, last week? 5 touchdowns. And
yeah. What was it? The New England Patriots defense, I streamed them this week, and they got me 44 points.
42 fantasy points for the Patriots defense.
42, yeah.
4 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, 7
pick sixes.
sacks.
Yeah.
Sounds like the Jets defense season.
Anybody listening right now, stream whatever defense is playing Miami Dolphins for the next 14 weeks, please.
That and the New York Jets. Just if you have the Patriots defense, go pick them up because it's a guaranteed
interception, 10 sacks,
at least a guaranteed 20 points.
At least. It must suck being a Dolphins fan right now. Sidebar. It's got to suck. Oh my God. Poor guys.
I don't know what's worse.
Jet fan or a Dolphin fan? I think I'd rather be a Jet fan because you got Bell. At least, you know.
That's true.
People are trying to get traded off the Dolphins right now. I'd easily take being a Jet fan.
So we don't have to worry about that. We got 30-plus points from Odell this week. Obviously, he had the big catch Monday night. Really opened it up for him.
Yep.
Julio Jones, you said the walk-off catch. He had 33 points.
Yeah.
And Dalvin Cook also 31 points. So
I'm telling you, Dalvin Cook, that dude's putting on.
They need a new man at quarterback, I think, because what did Kirk Cousins? What was his
stat?
Yeah, I don't think he completed more than 13 passes. No. Honestly,
Kirk Cousins finished the day with an astounding 14 completions out of 32 attempts, 230 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a sack.
That's Dookie.
It's Dookie.
That's like some Mark Sanchez stat line.
Nah.
Yeah.
Don't even go that low. Don't even go that. You don't want to do that because that's not fair. Don't do that to Mark Sanchez. That buff fumble it's going to go down it's going to go down in infamy.
That's okay. Like Chiefs fantasy wise, Mahomes 31 points, Kelsey 25 points.
That kid Robinson's going to be something special.
That's like the new Tyreek Hill. All of a sudden, what do you have? 7 catches for $158 and 2.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you, I was talking with a doctor that I work with at work the other day, and he was saying that Tyreek's Hill injury is a lot more serious than people are saying. I think they gave him a time frame to 2 to 4 weeks or 2 to 6 weeks or something like that.
Well, he was initially, I think he was out for 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. So let me give you a little backstory on the injury. So apparently, what happened was his proximal clavicle attachment detached from the sternum or the chest bone and actually went under the sternum and broke up a bunch of shit. So they actually shipped him right to the hospital. They kind of brought him to the hospital shortly after that injury because not only are you compromising with the soft tissue, but you're compromising all the arteries, the big, the carotid, all the big arteries that it could be fatal if they get ruptured or punctured or whatever. So a lot of stuff transpired in that injury. So it's not like it's a quick, it's 6 weeks to be back. The doctor that I work with was saying like, when I read it and kind of looked deep into it, it's going to be like anywhere from 8 to 10 weeks potentially. So I feel bad for whoever has Tyreek Hill in their league because that was probably a first or a second round pick that may or may not be around this season.
Shocking.
Travesty.
Yeah. Sorry, Travi.
Sorry, Trav.
And you're a Giants fan too. Sorry.
You're feeling it this week. You are feeling it this week.
Let's get back to the Giants a little bit.
I was just going to say, let's get into the Giants because now we got Daniel Jones playing this week, starting week 3. Do you have any idea how he's going to do?
I'm not on board with that.
You're not on board with that?
Because you put a cap hit on Eli Manning for $25 million, $19 million, I think is guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Why not just release him, trade him, do something with him, and you could just start Daniel Jones from the start?
Sure.
I don't really get it, to be honest. The season for them is shot regardless. I think they're limiting Barkley a little bit because we talked about him not getting enough touches last week. He had, I think it was 18 carries and he only caught 3 balls. So it's kind of he got a couple more touches than last week, but
yeah,
I think they're kind of like let's not burn him out so much.
On the flip side, I think the Giants are going to do really well week 3.
Yeah,
they're going against.
You think
Tampa.
they beat the Bucks?
I think they're going. Yeah, they're going to be in Tampa. I think Daniel Jones is going to be the shockwave they need, if you will. I think he's going to feed the ball to Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon's going to get that 20 carries a game, or 20 carries in that game. I think he's going to catch a handful of balls, but nonetheless, Evan Ingram's been playing a great. First 2 weeks he's been playing pretty damn well.
I know. And what's his name was in concussion protocol. Shepard, right?
Sterling Shepard.
So we'll see. Might not have all those weapons to go against the Bucks D and the immortal Todd Bowles.
And what does it come week 5 in 2 weeks? He'll have Golden Tate back. So I think Daniel Jones is going to have a good grasp on the offense. And then come week 5 when his offense is in full swing, he feels comfortable with it.
I think he might be ready. He looked pretty good in the preseason.
Great in preseason.
The only downside to him in the preseason was him fumbling the ball.
Sure.
I think he had 4 lost fumbles in the preseason, and he only played 5-6 quarters. So something to watch with that. But again, Eli's done. Maybe he can go revive the Jaguars or something
Eli's
like
sake,
that just to fill in for the rest of the year. But you've seen the same thing for the last 3 years if you're a Giants fan.
Yeah.
Eli, dink and dunk, less than 10 yards a pass.
Looks good at moments, but doesn't quite get that.
You're wasting Saquon Barkley right now. Let's get that new QB in there. Let's, give them a little jolt of energy and let's, let him progress.
100%. I'm absolutely with you.
You have 14 games this year to get him ready for next year.
At least
this
next
is
year.
all a progression season. So any Giants fan that thought they were making the playoffs was delusional in the first place because
that's a tough division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the Cowboys, you got the Eagles, but granted, what were you going to win with Eli Manning? 8-8, 9-7 tops.
Giants are going to be a top 10 pick going into the draft next year.
Yeah.
But I think they will. I could see them finishing, though, this year at 8-7. I honestly could see them finishing at 8-7 with Daniel Jones. For whatever reason, so when he got drafted, I laughed at every single Giant fan. We were at a draft party, I think we were, and I laughed at every Giant fan in that room's face. Haha, Daniel Jones. How do you feel about that now? You passed off on that with the linebacker that got sent off to the Raiders, whatever it was. Josh Allen.
To Jags.
To the Jags. That's what you're exactly right. I chuckled. I laughed my hind off. I thought it was the funniest thing because here you got the 6th pick and you could have gotten any other quarterback, but no, you went and got Josh Allen way prematurely.
Could have got him at 17.
When I watched him that first drive in preseason, I got happy. I felt good. I felt like I was a Giants fan for that moment. I felt happy for the Giants fans because they finally have something to look forward to moving forward.
But it was against the Jets, so.
But it was against the Jets. But they have something to look forward to, for Christ's sake.
I agree. I think a lot of these Giants fans are, so heartfelt and attached to Eli that they don't want to see him go. But at the same time, it's like,
for Eli's sake, I hope he retires a Giant.
I agree. I don't want him to go to another franchise and play another year and, that's it. I definitely think he deserves a good send-off from the Giants fans.
100%. He's earned it.
That's why, week 2, week 3, I think it's a little too early for
premature
Daniel Jones.
I would have liked it to be week 6 to 9.
What if he comes out and stinks it up? Then you got to put Eli back in. He's not going to want to go back in.
And that just hurts his demeanor. Yeah. That hurts Daniel Jones's progression, 100%. So I hope for his own sake that doesn't happen. I guess we'll see. Week 3, that's going to be an interesting storyline. Like I said, I did not see that coming. I did not see the Giants naming him starter come week 3. I couldn't. The fact that they're benching Eli Manning,
it's
in of itself is kind of crazy. I mean, granted, they benched Eli Manning last year when they had Geno Smith start, 2 years ago when they had Geno Smith start instead.
Good old Geno, we know about him, right?
Yeah, we both do. He's a Jet and a Charger. That's the only thing we have in common.
Geno the GOAT.
Yeah, I'm happy we upgraded with Tyrod Taylor as our backup quarterback.
Let's get into these week 3 picks.
Let's get to the week 3 picks.
Yeah, we need to definitely put week 2 behind us because
that was not
embarrassing
a good one.
On both.
Not a good one.
Let's start with this Thursday night game.
It's here.
Tennessee Titans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars are at home.
Got Tennessee Titans.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Backup QB.
Minshew.
I don't know. They hung in there versus the Texans. I thought that was a really good game by them to hold the Texans offense to 13 points.
Yep.
I think it's a toss-up. For some reason, I feel like the Titans always go off on prime time. Yeah. It's like that Derrick Henry ran 99 yards versus last year.
Right, exact for 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
exactly. But, the Tennessee Titans played pretty well last week against the Colts. I think they should have won, though they lost by 2. Marcus Mariota, so-so. He got sacked 4 times, which you don't want to hear, but Derrick Henry's having a pretty damn good season.
Yeah.
For what for what it is, for what it's worth, he's having a good season.
Titans are going to be in a weird spot because they're 2-0 right now, correct?
Mm-hmm. Titans?
Yeah.
No, I think 1-1.
No, 1-1?
Yeah, they lost last week to the Colts.
But Mariota is just not. He's not it.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is. He looked awesome in college, but I just don't have any trust in him at all.
I don't know if it's the style of offense or if it's just the supporting cast.
I thought new head coach, get a different plays in there and everything, but still looking like that same.
Yeah, exactly. So the world may never know, but I'm gonna ride with the Titans on that one. I got a good feeling.
All right. So last week I said if the Jets lost, I was not going against them this week. So I'm gonna take the Patriots this week. Jets are on the road. Luke, what the Falk is our quarterback.
So I got to rock out with the Jets. Huh? I got to somehow support the Jets this week.
I don't even know if we can talk about this game. Like what? Maybe Le'Veon Bell gets some fantasy points for me, but
I have it in one of my leagues as well. Yeah, I'm not even going to argue this one because I know the Patriots are going to win.
The Jets have zero secondary. Antonio Brown, Josh Gordon, and Edelman are going to run all over them.
Catch all
Sony Michel.
And whoever, Rex Burkhead and Johnny Pencil Pusher are going to go off.
It doesn't even matter. Tom Brady could do 85 quarterback sneaks and the Jets would lose. So, that's an L for the Jets this week.
Wonderful. So I'll go ahead and take the Jets on that one. Thanks.
I think the highlight of the 1 o'clock games is the Chiefs and Ravens.
That's going to be a good game. Two quarterbacks, like as we said, vying for that MVP race towards the end of the season. No, it's early on. I think I took the.
You took the Ravens.
I took the Ravens. Well, because you took the Chiefs. Yeah, exactly. So I feel comfortable with taking the Ravens. Defense is good enough that may just suppress the Chiefs' offense enough so, but the Ravens' offense puts enough points on the board to keep up with the Chiefs.
I think this game's going to be a shootout.
100%.
At the end of the day, I think the Chiefs' offense has a little more than the Ravens.
A little more juice.
If you were to flip a coin and say, who would you trust more in a big game, Mahomes or Jackson? You're taking Mahomes every day.
100%.
So we'll see, man. I think Mahomes is going to come out, another big game, 3-4 touchdowns. I think him and Kelsey are locked in right now. But I think this is... Let's see what Lamar Jackson has this week. You played the Dolphins, you played the Cardinals. So now you have a real defense and a real team you're going to play against. So
a Super Bowl contending team. Yes. So if the Ravens can win this game or come anywhere near closer, then I actually feel comfortable having them where they are in the power rankings. And right now they're sitting at 6.
And honestly, if the Ravens can beat the Chiefs this week, I think they have the division locked up because
just about.
The Steelers lost Big Ben.
Yeah.
The Browns are 1-1, but
they're not looking great.
Mayfield hasn't looked anywhere comfortable passing the ball this season.
Not even remotely.
Yeah.
Not even remotely. What else do we have on the list?
Another one you picked, Broncos, Packers.
Right, yeah.
You took the Packers at home.
Go, Pack, go.
Broncos I thought would be a little bit better, but...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not quite there.
You got the curse of Joe Flacco, apparently.
I have to. I'm riding out with my overrated quarterback of Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to get sacked a handful of times, no doubt about it, because you got Von Miller and Chubb coming around the corners.
The real story of the Packers, though, is that defense, man. They only gave up 3 points to the Bears, and then
who saw that coming at the beginning of the year?
They only gave up 10 to the Vikings,
if that, 14.
14.
Or, not even.
And the Packers have been... the Packers have been...
16 in the...
the Packers have been predominantly an offensive team, so it's it's kind of like Aaron Rodgers always has to be that guy to play catch-up and try and outscore the other team, so it's like a change of pace now that...
Yeah.
They actually have a defense that can not put Aaron Rodgers on the field for 45 minutes.
I would like to see Aaron Rodgers throw for more than 200 yards. He just threw for 209 last week. I like to see him at the high 200s to 300s.
And Devontae had a good game. The running back scored 2 touchdowns, I believe. Jamal Williams.
Jones?
Jamal Jones?
You're talking about Adam Jones?
Adam Jones.
Yeah, sorry. 1 touchdown. Yeah, one touchdown, but 116 yards, average 5 yards per carry.
So they got the ground game going.
Yeah, they got it going. And they beat a really good Bears team.
I know, but look at the Packers now, 2-0. They already beat the Vikings and the Bears, so they're in the driver's seat right now for the division
easily. We have 2 more games left, if I'm not mistaken.
Trace.
3.
So another game we're going to pick is the Steelers and the 49ers. 49ers are at home this week. Steelers, obviously the devastating news with Big Ben. I'm going with the 49ers, though, this week at home.
Didn't I pick the 49ers to take that game?
No, you got a T right there.
That's BS.
I don't think Mason
Steelers
Rudolph
get pummeled.
I think Mason Rudolph needs a couple more weeks to transition into that offense. 49ers coming off that big win last week versus the Bengals, 41-17. You know, we were really down on them last week, but Jimmy G looked like he was like, yep, you guys talk shit about us, so now I'm going to show you how I can throw 4 touchdowns and destroy the Bengals, but...
So I think at this point, I think that James Conner is going to. I think he's going to put on. I think he's going to be the sole. They're going to lean on him. I don't think Mason Rudolph's going to be effective at the running back at the wide receiver position. Or I'm sorry, I don't think Mason Rudolph's going to be effective throwing the ball to like Juju Smith-Schuster or whoever.
No, I know. Juju's fantasy ranking is going to go right down too. I'm upset about that, but.
So.
Yeah, again, I think he's going to rely a lot on
heavily
James
on
Conner.
James Conner. Yeah, I think the 49ers will win, but I'll rock out with the Steelers.
Check a lot of the dump offs.
Yep. And then we have the Chargers game next up.
Yeah. Well, who are you going with?
Who do you think? Taking Chargers.
Chargers, Texans. Chargers got the home field advantage, but at the same time, when do
it's
they
not
ever?
Home field advantage. There'll be more Texans fans in the stadium.
You saw J.J. Watt made an imprint last week, so I think it'll be close, but I'm thinking like a 21-17 game. I think the Texans have it. I think Fuller breaks it open late with a deep play down the middle.
Well, the mere fact that the sole fact that the Jaguars held the Texans to 13 points makes me very confident the Chargers can not only put up a bunch of points against that defense, but then also hold the D. Hopkins and Deshaun Watson just to minimal points. So I could see that being a 28-14, 28.
Yeah. Hopkins last week I think only had 5 catches for 40 yards.
If that. Austin Eckler needs to put on. Phillip Rivers needs to make smarter choices. He's going to have those putsy games where he just throws the ball just to throw the ball and it gets picked off and ran back for an interception. So I'm praying that Phillip Rivers, do something. Please help a Charger fan out in Connecticut, please. So yeah, the last game we have this week is
Rams on the road versus the Brownies.
I'm not taking the Jabronis.
No, I know you're not.
I'm taking the Rams. I'm going LA this week.
How can you not? Talked a little bit of crap about Jared Goff last week, but.
I don't think he's worth that contract.
No, he's definitely not. 100%. He definitely shut me up by beating the Rams last week.
Exactly, beating the Saints last week.
Sorry,
a lot of that helped because Drew Brees was out and didn't have a viable quarterback shooting out with them.
You saw Gurley get his first touchdown of the week or the season.
Yep.
But
yeah, no. As far as that goes,
Browns are all hype, man.
All hype. All hype.
Baker did not look good last night. Granted, the Jets lost.
Hear this: Browns all bark, no bite.
Yep, there it is.
That's all it is. There's no better way of putting the Browns' season, I guess you could say. They had a lot of hype going into this year. People were high as could be off of them. They just don't got it, and then they certainly not going to have it against the Rams.
Yeah, we had them, third in the division besides the Steelers before Big Ben's injury, but I still think the Ravens are coming out on top of that division, but
easily.
They're going to have to fight for a playoff spot.
They're going to have to fight for it.
They're going to be in that wild card fight. I think they're going to be right there with the Chargers, just, granted the Chiefs.
It's going to be a wild card shootout right there. Yeah, 100%. So that's pretty much it. That's just about wraps it up this week. So until next Tuesday, let's hope the Jets can do something with their lives. Let's hope Phillip Rivers makes smarter choices.
Probably not going to happen.
For both of not only our blood pressure.
What do you guys think?
Heart rates?
49-0, 56-0, 56-3.
42-10.
Yeah. All right.
Final score, 42-10.
We'll see. Hopefully we give it up 10 points.
Until next time, signing off, EB.
TEE time. Let's do it.
Adios.